Have you been dreaming about getting into the housing market and you don't know where to start? Are the climbing prices here in the Boise metropolitan area have you squirming when you think of writing a $100,000 check to buy a $500,000 property? Well, in today's video, I'm going to tell you about house hacking. This is a simple strategy combined with an FHA loan where you can buy a $500,000 asset with as little as $30,000 down while you have a tenant help you both qualify for the mortgage using the rental income and limit your monthly obligation by using their rent to help offset the mortgage. So let's dive in. Let's talk a little bit more about this. For today's example, we are going to look at this property in West Boise. It's on Allenbaugh Street, pretty good central location to the valley. You can see this guy here. So you're close to the connector. Downtown is just right here. You've got BSU kind of right over in this area right here. So let's dive in. Let's look at the specifics. Let's look at the numbers. So if we were to purchase this property for the full 520K, we use an FHA loan, which allows us to buy this asset with as little as 3.5% down. It's only going to be about 18 grand. The current rates, I'll show you on my phone. One of my favorite sites to just kind of get the information from, it's called Mortgage News Daily. And when I look on here, it's telling me that the FHA rates are 5.93%. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little bit of a glare. So I just plugged that in here. Next, I'm going to pull the property taxes from the site, from the listing. It says 4165. I know that the insurance is likely going to be a little bit less than $1,200, but for this example, we're just going to plug this in here because we'd rather be surprised when we get the dial numbers in versus upset. One thing to take into fact, one thing to consider when we are using an FHA loan, we're going to have mortgage insurance that's never going to fall off. This guy looks like it's going to be around $230. So our all-in mortgage on this thing is going to be $3,600 a month approximately. And when we look here on the listing, we're going to see that it's saying the total rent is $2,500. So we know that one side is paying $1,250 and likely the other side is too. We're going to live in this one unit, obviously, so we're not going to collect any rent here unless we wanted to rent out one of the bedrooms to help lower our costs even more. So when we look at this, we see that it's going to cost us about $2,200 to a month to own this property, and that's after we put right around 31 grand down. So let's look and see if we can do any better than this guy. I have a feeling this thing might be under rented. So let's pull this address from here. And we're just going to plug this into Rentometer. Bet it's worth at least $1,500 for a 2-1 in this area. Okay, so yeah, the median's 1450 and the 75th percentile is 1550. So let's dive in here. Let's look and see some of these higher valued ones. So I'm just copying this address and I'm going to go to Zillow Rental. I'm just going to plug it in and see if there's anything that stands out on this property, and then we're going to compare it to ours. So it looks like this is some type of apartment complex. Nothing special, right? Looks like it has LVP floors and that's about it. And again, on this guy, looks like they just got 1655 last year. 1655. $1,599 in December. Okay, so I think it's fair to say that we can likely at least get this, we'll say $1,600 to be on the safe side. So if we are able to increase the rents to market, this gets a little more interesting, right? It's going to drop our cost to live here around $1,900. And let's say we improve the property a little bit. Let's say we live in it for a few years. We renovate one side. We put some LVP floors in it. Maybe we improve the baseboards, throw some stainless steel appliances in. And remember, our property, the subject property, it lives a little bit different than an apartment building. This one also has a garage, has a fenced-in yard for people that want pets, and people just prefer to live in a house over an apartment. And this is going to live just like a house. A couple reasons. It is a duplex, but you can see we would have to go tour the property, but it looks like we're going to have separation from the other side via this garage, which is something that I really like. There's no one above you, there's no one below you. And hopefully if this garage is going to create a little bit of separation in between you and you and the tenant, you and the other side. So the goal of this, you guys, is to acquire an asset. In this case, it's a $500,000 asset with a little bit of money down. You can see it's going to be about $31,200. And we're going to improve the property, right? Like I said, let's say we improve it a little bit. We live in one side where nights and weekends, instead of hanging out with the boys and gals, drinking some cold ones out at the local belly up spot, we're going to save our pennies, and we're thinking long term. We're going to invest into our future self. So let's say we improve these sides, and let's say we can get $1,700 a side. And we've also saved up enough money to move out into the next property because we want to continue to do this. So this thing almost breaks even before considering anything, before considering any type of vacancy, any type of repairs, etc. So there's a good chance that in 3 to 5 years, if we are to live in this property for that amount of time, if we push the value up with the rents by doing small renovations, the rent growth is likely going to tick up a couple percent too. So let's say we're in here 5 years and now this thing's worth $1,850. Now this gets interesting, right? It covers itself. It's making $100 to pay for a little bit of vacancy, pay for a little bit of repairs. And you guys, this is exactly how portfolios are built. You don't need to have thousands of doors to have a very comfortable and a very successful Q4 of life. If we can stack just a couple of these properties and be intentional about our first accusation with something like this, or even something like a single family house that's going to be in a desirable area that's going to appreciate and cash flow upon move out, that's how we do it, you guys. Again, my name is Ryan Spath. I'm an investor turned realtor here in the Boise area. I'm with Keller Williams Boise. If this sounds interesting to you, if this strategy or just any type of thinking outside the box, whether it's investing, whether it's just acquiring any assets, I'm your guy. I'd love to help you. I'd love to serve you. Please send me a message, shoot me a DM, and I look forward to you watching the next video.